All right, well, let's get going on this thing. Print man, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really
Of course.
appreciate it. This is super cool to get to chat with you. You and I chatted a little bit kind of beforehand, and you were saying that you've been through this is your third cycle, and you've
Yep.
kind of started from scratch with each new cycle. So I wanted to see if you can maybe walk us through each of the cycles, maybe kind of
Yeah.
what you did right in them, what you did wrong in them, and then also what carried you forward into each next one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I first bought Bitcoin in October of 2017. I bought a couple for like 5 grand each, and that was kind of tail end of that cycle. Like there had been like a crazy alt season over the summer, and I just remember like looking back at altcoin charts and being like, "What the hell? Like, what just happened?" But thankfully for me, it happened again, brief and furious, like in 2 months, just everything exploded. So I was able to like run that up to like 17 Bitcoin at the time.
Nice.
Back then we denominated in Bitcoin, like that's just what you did. Like the whole goal was to increase your Bitcoin. Like I never thought about my USD portfolio because it was early and we were all going to hold Bitcoin to, $1 million each. And crypto is the future. It was like way more of like mission focused at that time. Like in everybody, like nobody was jaded yet, which is interesting. That's a big change. So that cycle, I sold a bit. There was this one guy, I just remember like everyone saying, I hit 20K like in December, Bitcoin did. And then I remember it dipped, and I remember everybody being like, yo, Amazon is gonna like add Bitcoin as like a payment feature in February, and it's gonna go to 42K by February. Um, like everyone's saying that at the top. And I remember this one guy posted this chart that like showed Bitcoin going to 3K. And it actually did, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank God for that guy, because I was like, this is guy's the only one saying anything different. I'm gonna like partially listen to him. So I took him profits and like tried to trade over the summer, and I just like everything was crashing. And I just realized at that point, like, this is not worth it to be here when it's a downtrend. Like, I know a lot of people trade through the bear and you can make a lot of money that way, but just for me, it was never worth the energy. So that kind of set my pattern of like making some money, like running up a lot, not selling the top, but like selling a bit and then like using that IRL and doing what I wanted. So that was cycle one. And I guess that's where I learned that lesson that just like, I'm not a bear market guy. Like maybe I'll try my hand next one, but or maybe there are no bear markets anymore, or they're really short. I have no idea. This cycle is very different.
Yeah.
So that was cycle one. Um, I did stick around like barely enough. I had a couple buddies that were still trading, and one guy was like, "Yo, you should buy Link, this coin Link. It's like 80 cents or something." So I bought like $1,000 of Link at 80 cents. Over that bear market. That was my only purchase. And that kind of like seed funded my next, that was like my bankroll for the next bull market, which was great. Um, I converted a little bit of that into Bitcoin and Ethereum and like watched, March 2020, like everything crash and die, and that was horrible. But obviously it came back and sold my Link, and that kicked off the next bull market.
What was your sell price on Link?
I think it was like $12 or something. It
Nice.
went to 20. I remember at some point in that little like summer, DeFi summer. And then I remember later buying like 10 grand of it, and it doubled in like 3 days. I just sold it. I was like, I'll just take this.
Amazing.
But weirdly to note, like for new traders, like this is all so far trading on exchanges. So like there's no on chain, just it was all on Binance, and the alpha was like getting into these new exchanges that were like super shady to buy stuff and before it got listed on Binance. So it kind of mirrored a little bit the on-chain thing of like we're trying to front run exchanges. But like one of them, I remember this coin, shit, what is it called now? It rebranded. It was XRB, Ryblox, and now it's Nano. The team that just launched Keto did Nano. Kita just did Nano. So I got in this like horrible exchange, bought a bunch of it. It did like a 30x in like 2 weeks. And then there was this hack, and I lost like 5 Bitcoin in that hack. So it was the wild, wild west, dude. You weren't like the liquidity rugs of that time were like exchanges just like disappearing or getting hacked or just like taking your shit.
Terrible. What was this
Yeah,
cycle
it was
like
kind of
for you?
fun. What's that?
What was this cycle like for you?
What was it like?
Yeah. Where were your
Yeah,
hitters?
so this cycle was the first time I really traded on chain. My second cycle was mostly NFTs. And I did a little ETH on chain, but like let's see. I bought Sol one time when it crashed right after FTX. I bought like 100 Sol or something, and then immediately bought some NFTs that went to zero, so that was dumb. But then the second time I bought Sol was late December 2023. I bought a half a Sol, and I immediately bought two Bozo financed NFTs. And that was like my first foray into crypto. Like I was a little late to this cycle actually. I know a lot of people like I missed the peep run up, like I missed all that ETH meme coin craziness. Um, but that's a lesson there that there's a lesson there that I've learned, which is like I always curated a really nice list of people on X, like people that I've followed since 2017 that I knew were legit, that weren't scammers, that like, and that's how I found this. My first buy was this point 0.5 Sol buy that went to like 100 grand in a month. That was my first buy of the cycle. But it was because
Insane.
I followed this dude that had really good takes before. Like I really appreciated the way he thought. And he launched this thing. So I was like, whatever, I'll just buy this. So that was a pretty auspicious way to start this cycle. However, I knew nothing about like Sol on chain. I really didn't know anything about on chain shitters like at all. I didn't understand liquidity pools, like sizing, anything. So um, I took that money and just sort of dispersed it around a little bit, chopped up a bit. But then I bought $1,000 of Costco hot dog at 100K market cap. So it was 1%. And dude, that thing went to 100 million in like a couple weeks. It was crazy.
It
But
was.
again, I had no idea, like, I didn't understand how to size or take profit or anything. I just would like sell half my bag like every once in a while, like fully a half. I don't even think I was watching the chart. I'm sure it was just like mayhem in the charts. Um, but I still managed to sort of sell enough at the top to make a little good bag there. But that's when I really had to like start wrapping my mind around liquidity pools and like sizing and how to take profits and all that stuff. I also jumped into base pretty early. One thing that I've always done, and I'll loop this back to what I was saying about the 2017 cycle, like so 2017 cycle, you'd find a cool coin. Okay, this is sweet. Oh, I have to like sign up for this exchange to get it. That feels like a lot of work. But like I learned that like friction and like being early is good. So like if things are difficult or complicated and you don't feel like doing it, that means like everybody else is feeling the same way. And so if you push past that, you often can get a payout. So um, I jumped into base like pretty early before a lot of people did this cycle. This would have been like Q1 2024, I guess. Um, and I bought like 1% of KeyCat at like 5K market cap. Like I was literally on new pairs on base. Like nobody was. But I was like on Photon looking at new pairs, like buying things as they launched. Um, so that's a lesson that's proven to last like over cycles is if there's something new and it's a little difficult, that's why I'm like always jumping chains. Because I think like this cycle I hit trillions on XPL super early. Like I just I don't know, it's always worth it to put a little effort and friction in because people probably aren't doing that. And as soon as they're like, oh, I should bridge to XPL, like your exit liquidity comes in and that's when you can sell.
Right. Interesting. It almost makes me want to ask you, like, what's your thoughts on a product like FOMO that is opening up these things and making them way more accessible instantly?
Yeah, it is interesting. I wonder how Monad would have gone differently. Like, there's two answers. One is that the friction can't stay. Like, if the friction is always there, then the thing dies. Like, it has to get easier because that's the inflow of like fresh capital.
Yeah.
So in one sense, it is democratizing a lot of that stuff. It may take like part of the edge out of it for people like me. But obviously, like you're not going to be like gobbling up every single new chain unless you are. Um, but I mean, there's still gonna be a cohort of people that are gonna like fade monad because they just don't care enough to look into it, you know? So there's alpha in like being curious and finding groups of people that are learning about new projects on different chains, whether it's easy, you know, like BNB is a good example. Like BNB by now is fairly accessible, right? Even before you guys came along, like you could trade on BNB if you wanted to, but you could still front run the hordes because, you know, people's eyes are on Sol. BNB season pops up a little bit. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to beat last 2 days. And then surprise, it lasts 3 weeks. That
Right.
was one of the more profitable periods for me. So I love FOMO. I mean, I like the whole just multi-chain not needing to bridge is perfect for me because I always have stuff on multiple chains, but like it's a pain, you know, you gotta, I don't know, managing all that and like, oh, how much liquid do I have on this chain and like bridging it over and it just, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I do like the product and I think either way, you know, a new edge will appear.
For sure. So, okay, across your wins, Link sub $1, Costco hot dog at 100K, KeyCat at 5K. What,
Yeah.
you kind of suggested what the early signals, like how you kind of found those, but like what
Mhm.
did those tokens kind of all share? What was like the big commonality that they shared?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about those, but I'll speak more generally like what I look for. Well, Costco hot dog was just like, dude, it just made sense to me. Like,
It did make
I
sense.
don't know if you remember that coin, but it was I honestly think it was like the perfect meme coin. Like the
Well,
whole
the whole thing
price
was,
target.
yeah, the dollar price target, right? Because
Yeah,
the
like
because the hot dog
the
costs a
dog's always
dollar.
been $1.50. So like this coin must be $1.50. I think, yeah. How do I answer that? Well, let's get into like the later cycle because I think there's more of like a set of wins that I can kind of tie together. So I just developed this thesis for myself over the summer in 2024 that AI was going to be huge in crypto. I just didn't know how. It had been like on ETH, like with Tau and all that, but it hadn't really crossed over to Sol at all. So like I was like super early. Like I looked at Turbo on ETH, it ran up to like 500 million. Um, there's a couple other coins that I liked, and then there were a couple that popped up. I don't know if you remember Devon. It was like this coin that an AI deployed itself, and then it had this run up and then kind of faded.
I don't remember
But
that one.
so that was kind of the first little like Soul AI like experiment. But I always just kept these coins on a watch list and like I was looking for something. So like that I think is my number one edge is I'm like formulating a thesis way before sometimes like super way too early. Like BNB, I've been ready for BNB season for like a year and a half. I've been telling my friends like, dude, get ready for BNB season. And then it finally happened like a month ago. So I guess just like I'm always looking like forming thesis about a meta and then looking for coins in that meta and like being ready to hold a little longer while people are like, oh, this is going to be a flash in the pan. Well, I've been spending, you know, months developing this conviction in a meta, and I think that it'll run longer than people think, and therefore, you know, can potentially make more money. So AI was a great example. Like, my 2024 was pretty wild. Like started with $50, ran it up to like 250K and then like chopped that down to 80 and then back up above six figures and then chopped that down to like 10K and then and mainly on ETH over that season. And then I just like didn't trade Sol for a couple months, came back and then sized down and was buying like zero point 0.1, zero point 0.05 Sol at a time, like tiny size, just like trying to learn how to trade Sol. So I had like five Sol. um,
Wow.
this is probably like Q3. Like I had some stuff on EVM, like longer term bags that I just let sit, but like Sol was five Sol. So Goat launched and I was like, this is kind of like it's AI. It's not what I had been looking for, but it is AI. So like that's good. And honestly, I was just like, this is kind of gross. Like it's, you know, it's like some dude's butthole. Like I don't really get why this one will go so high. So I was wrong about that. But I literally remember telling me people like, I'm gonna find the next goat. Like I was wrong and I faded goat, but like I'm gonna find the next one. So goat went real high, and then all kinds of crazy stuff was running, like Ganon and like these like AI religions, and it was like super new. So I was with the group of traders, and I was just like, guys, the reason that there's not like another goat right now is that like it takes time for AI developers to like put together legit projects. So the only thing running with goat right now is this bullshit. And so because no one's like teams have not had enough time to put something together, or like respected AI devs have not gotten wind that this is happening yet. Like I think that this is just like the first leg. Well, Goat kind of crashed a bit, and like there was a lot of grave dancing on AI, and like everybody started aping memes again. And meanwhile, I was looking, and I developed this entire X account. Like I started a new X account, and I just followed like every AI dev I could find, like not crypto, AI. So I found like 100 people, and then I just started watching out for AI coins that had launched and were still around. So I found like Vivefu, which is like an early
Mm-hmm.
you could launch an AI agent, and it was like 500K or something when I bought it. So I started accumulating that. That ended up running to 140 million. I found AVB, which is like the godfather of AI devs, launched that. That went to like 50. So I was finding all these coins when everybody was like, yeah, AI is over. Like that was fun. Haha. And I just was like, dude, that was just the beginning. So like my conviction in AI that it would be such a thing paid off huge. Um, and then I was talking to somebody, a smart guy in my GC, and I was like, what do you think like the perfect AI agent would be? Like it's probably one that would like trade for itself and like manage its own market making and like manage its own portfolio. And we were like, yeah, like that would take a while to put together, but like when that comes out, we're gonna like max bid it. Well, sure enough, I saw on X like somebody was talking about AI 16Z. I was like, what is this? Went to the Dow page. It was like 2.5 million. And I basically like full ported everything I had. Like, remember, I started with 5 Sol, like ran it up to maybe like 50 or 80. I just like put everything in there. I was like, this is like, I've been looking for this exact coin. I found it. So the next day, Pow, Mark Andreessen followed, Pow shilled, like it went to 100 million. I sold quite a bit on the run up and then rebought. And that was like my kingmaker. So I guess to answer your question, like there's not I can't say like what do I look for in a specific coin. I just try to develop like larger a larger thesis about things that I think will be valuable. And then, I have a little catalog of those in the back of my mind and just be ready for them. And then just go all in and wait for it to sit on your hands.
Oh man, that's so amazing. So like you're not thinking too much about your sizing in those scenarios. You are just like full porting. Are you doing it all at once? Are you
Yeah.
staggering your bids over time, or how are you thinking about
Staggering
that?
bids over time. Yeah. So my size was a lot smaller then, so it was different. Like I could easily full port and it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, no, I accumulate like, and that's my favorite. Like the best case scenario is that you can't accumulate. Like for instance, when I found AVB, autonomous virtual beings, the one that went to like 50 million, I bought it at like 4 million and it just like dropped to like 1 million over like a week. And I just kept buying it. So this is like, dude, this guy's been an AI dev for 20 years. Like this, I cannot believe that this coin should be going down. Like I will just keep buying it. So if you're lucky, you find a coin and when it goes down, you're like, sweet, I'm buying more. Like that's a best case scenario. That assuming you're right, that means you're early. And it was incredibly difficult for me during that period because I was literally scanning things in my group chat and people would be like, dude, you're retarded. Like we're everyone's buying memes right now. Like, why are you scanning this? Like, I'm not making that, but that's literally what they said. And so I just had to have a personal thesis that was stronger than my group at that point. Um, but it was tough. So I think that that's my key is like I always try to be tapped in enough to understand what the current meta is. And if I can grasp that like really strongly, I know I can make money. If I don't grasp it, like I can't. Like if I can kind of understand like okay, this is what people are buying right now, then a new coin can come out and I can value that. But if I can't, like I might as well just not trade, honestly. And I struggle with that. Sometimes I still do, but I think that's the
When
key, really.
when we were chatting earlier, you said that your main edge was holding through disgusting PA that most sane traders would capitulate to. So,
Yeah.
is it really just like your thesis is so strong in your brain that like you can just manage that, or how did you develop the ability to trust your instincts that way and to hold through
Yeah.
that sort of PA?
That's a good question. I mean, the short answer is yes. I mean, your thesis has to be stronger. I mean, this is something I say all the time. It bothers me to no end. Like, price going down should not affect your thesis. Like, that doesn't mean the coin's bad. Now, there can be other things that you don't know about that affect your thesis, and that's why the price is going down. But price going down does not mean coin bad. Like, I think I wrote that. I mean, I wrote that about Ubit, which is a brutal trade right now. But I learned that with AI16Z because when I bought back AI16Z at like 25 million maybe after that run up, and like for 2 weeks. I mean, you guys can go back and look in the chart and look at that chart depicts like my mental state. Like 2 weeks, it basically just like slowly went down, and like nobody cared. Um, During that period, honestly, I mean, shout out to my boy Trader Powell. Because the fact that he was in it, like I felt so alone, but like every once in a while, Trader Powell would be like, I still think this is a good coin and this is why. And I'm like, okay, someone else, like I'm not crazy. Someone else is there. So like that was the trade that really taught me the lesson. And I had the benefit of having like a public person. Everyone was ignoring him too, by the way.
Mm,
Um, but I think now I just learned it because of then. If my thesis is solid and nothing's changed about it besides that like people aren't interested, then my edge is that I can hold it until they are. Like if my thesis is right, I don't know how long, I'd have to hold it. I'm trying to think of my longest hold. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've held a coin for like 9 months before and sold, and sold it for like a 20x. Um, I think if you do enough due diligence, this is also something that I really try to do because I talked about metas and like understanding the current meta. Like I kind of have two different trading styles in my head and two different portfolios. Like I have my trading and then my investing loosely. And this cycle's kind of been brutal for investing, but there have been coins that come back and like if I'm putting something in like a long-term hold, like it's not associated to like a flash in the pan meta. Like I'm not developing a thesis and conviction on like an animal that has a name.
right.
Like I just don't have a conviction that like that could come back in a year. But something that has a team, something that has like IRL links, something that is like intrinsically valuable, something that has someone that I trust that is involved or pushing it, that I don't think will stop. Like I try to think about how evergreen a coin is, because for me and my style, which is holding a long time, I need to make sure that coin could come back and resurrect from the dead someday. Um, and I mean, here, useless is a good example of that. So like I bought useless at like 400K. It ran up to 40. Um, I think I sold a little bit on the run up, but not much. And then it went, I mean, it just started cratering and like everyone sort of abandoned it. Like Bonk guy was still kind of talking about it, but like everyone was clowning him. You know, Bonk season was over, blah, blah, blah. But that's a good example too, because I was like, dude, Bonk guy's like, he's not gonna give up. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this dude is a legend. You know, I just, it went down to 5 million and I was bummed, dude. But I literally just took my useless, put it in a wallet, and just didn't look at it. Like I just forgot it existed. And then my final sells for useless were like above 400 million. So,
Wow.
that's another good example of, I think most of my friends even that held useless sold it too. So I was pretty alone in that. Um,
Swizzle, I think, is still in.
yeah,
Do
well,
you follow him?
he's an absolute legend. Yes, he is. He never sold any of it, which is crazy. He's even a bigger retard than me. But I admire that about Swizzle.
I can't wait to bring him in here and chat with
Yeah,
him.
Swizzle's like one of my close. I guess like we don't talk a lot, but he's one of the guys. I mean, he's in a lot of GCs, and we like interact a lot. We don't talk like one on one a lot, but he and Wood, I think we've got a little group chat that we discuss like bigger trades. Like they were both pretty early, like had a lot of size before I did, and I've learned a lot from them about how to manage that size. And so they're like two guys that I try to bounce things off of. And that's another thing I wanted to address. Like if you're a young, a trader trying to get better, like I would put myself like in between Swizzle and Wood. Like Swizzle is the like hold forever, never sell guy, like ever. And then I do a lot of that. Wood is like super defensive and a defensive trader and try to really limits his downside. So like you need to find people that have different edges than you. And Wood particularly is that for me, like learning how he manages risk and stuff has helped me a lot and helped me take profit more this cycle than previous. So I think that's like a big lesson that I would share is like you can't do this alone. You don't get to pick who you trade with necessarily unless you're in the space for a long time. But just find people that you admire and don't find people that are good at exactly what you are. That you need to find a mix of people and create a little group and trade together.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's like the forever quest. Once you kind of have been in the game for long enough to know that you're going to be in the game for a while, that
Yep.
seems like the ever present quest is like I got to find my team, my homies
Yep.
who kind of help keep me sane. And you're right, man. Those two dudes do seem like Ozzy and Harriet. Like they seem like um perfect balance, yin and yang for one another, right?
Yep. Yep.
Because yeah, Wood is he's totally like he's so skeptical, and Swizzle is just like a true believer.
Yeah, dude, wood is dumped on my head so many times, but like the couple times that like he dumped house coin on my head and then it went to 100 million, he dumped useless on my head and then rebought. So like there are a couple times where like I won out in the end, but then plenty of times where he dumped and like I should have too.
Yeah. How do you identify new metas forming? Like, and also what tells you that a meta has staying power? What tells you
Yeah,
that it's shifting? How do you like really identify that? Is can you
dude,
quantify it?
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that like 2025 has been brutal for like a lack of real metas, really. Like there just haven't. I mean, I guess you could say like bonk season was kind of a meta, and then like pump folio was kind of a meta. That's kind of like that's the closest thing I can really think of. And I did pretty well. I did really well on bonk. I didn't do quite as well on pump because I don't know. I really actually believed I had that thesis that like we should all go back to pump. I remember when Bonk announced that the top 10 coins would get like a percentage of revenue um, injected in their chart. And I was like, that will mark the top of Bonk. And then like we'll probably pivot. But Pump had done nothing. Like I don't you guys probably remember like Elon was like completely silent for so long and I just messed that up. So I guess I'm just like always trying to assess like, okay, what are we all doing? All right, what are we all doing? What are we all buying? Now, how long have we been buying this kind of thing? And then like, is everyone in agreement about what we should be buying? Okay, if everyone's in agreement about what we should buying, then like probably the edge is pretty close to being over, or it's over. Because there's not that
Right.
many people in crypto, and there's not a lot of retail coming. Like we're taking money from each other. So like, as soon as all my group chats are all scanning bonk coins, and as soon as they're all like, yeah, we're not trading. I mean, I remember literally people would scan a pump coin and people would be like, no pump CAs. Like, that's when I first realized, like, yeah, Bonk is probably going to be over. My problem was yeah, I didn't think the shift to pump would be so quick. And guess what happened? Freaking Tokaboo and
Yeah.
Troll and like all these pump coins like blew up. So I think if you can like sort of, uh, if you can like step outside of the bubble you're in and like recognize what the bubble's all doing, then that's a huge edge. And then kind of discipline yourself. I mean, the trick is definitely like, what is the next bubble? But I mean, you're way ahead if you can sort of like know when to start exiting. Like I get this feeling, dude, like when I'm starting to buy, like when betas are being scanned and I'm looking for the next thing because the big runner, like I'm probably in the big runner, but I'm looking for something else too. And I'm like, everyone's shilling betas of this thing. Like, I feel like it's kind of close to being over. I've kind of developed that, and I think just always also like just think, I don't know, just reflect on past trades. Like, I think about all this stuff all the time. Like, what were we buying last week? What were we buying the week before? Like, what are the coins everybody was in? Like, I keep a lot of watch lists of old coins and just remind myself, what were we all into? Like, you got to trade more than just the coins in front of your face.
Totally, totally. Have you, you talk a lot about how conviction has been the thing that's really like steered you, sounds like through multiple cycles.
Yep.
Have has that ever gone wrong? Has your conviction
Oh,
ever like led you astray?
all the time. All the time.
Yeah. Can you
I
give me
think
can you give me like
this,
a good example?
oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. One doesn't come to mind probably just because there's so many. I'll think of one, but I will say that like 2025 has been like brutal for conviction traders, like absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And I've had to change my style a lot in my edge. So like now the conviction is more like in a meta rather than like in a coin, like rather than like, oh, Popcat's gonna be like a $10 coin. Like, you know, I don't think I have convictions in like specific coins as much as I have convictions in like metas or directions that I think the market's gonna go. And then I have to be flexible to like pick the coin for that. What was a big conviction that I, huh.
We can come back to it.
Yeah, come back to it because I'll think of a good one this year.
All right. You
I
said
mean, well,
personal.
I'll go back actually. I'll go back to this is something I didn't do well with the AI because I thought AI would last longer. I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
A huge L that I took was dude, I can't even remember what it's called now. What was the it was like Griffane. You remember Griffane, that like
Sure.
AI terminal?
Yep.
It wasn't that one, but it was the one that that dude was making on Arbitrum. Dude, I can't remember what it's called. Is this the multi-cycle guy, Danielle Siesta? I can't remember his name. But I was just like, I was convinced. I was like, dude, and they were calling it DFAI. Remember that? DEFAI. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I could say like DeFi, however you pronounce that, DeFi was my biggest like L conviction because I was just like, dude, this just makes sense. Like we just did AI and now like the AI is gonna be managing like DeFi. Like it all made sense, but it was
Yep.
completely wrong because Trump came up, blew everything out of the water. Now we were into like meme coins and there was too much money sloshing around. I just completely died. I probably lost, dude, I don't even remember wanting to know how much I lost in that. I just blocked that out of my mind.
As that's probably the best case scenario is to not know.
I'm really good at that,
Um,
by the way. I think you have to be good at that. Like just leaving it behind. Like, dude, if I have a coin that I think is gonna be good and the price is bad, like I will literally not look at my wallet for like weeks. Like literally.
yeah.
Like just shut it. I call it Schrodinger's wallet. That's actually my biggest issue with FOMO is that like that's been my style for so long that like when my big bags are down, I just don't want to open the app. I'm like, I gotta figure out something else with FOMO because it's so useful. Like I need to use it, but that's been my style is like, okay, a bag I believe in is down. Like, I'm just gonna ignore it until it goes back up.
Interesting. That's actually some good product feedback. I'll pitch it to the team.
Yeah, I've actually, I've actually been thinking about this because, like in Rabby, like the extension wallet, you can
Yeah.
just you can click your P&L and L and it just hides it.
Mm.
Um, and I do that with all my wallets because I just don't like, and this will segue a little bit into like personal development and just like keeping your mindset clear. Like when you're in high stress situations and trading is like every little thing affects your balance, like your decision making. And just like looking at a wallet constantly and seeing a red number, like I just say this all the time, like I don't need no negative shit in my life. Like I'll say
Yeah.
that in my group chats. Like someone will scan my coin that's down. I'm like, stop scanning this. Like I just don't need this negativity in my life because if I've already developed a conviction or in the trade, like I don't need to constantly be like looking at the price. Like just wait till it goes up or it doesn't. Like it doesn't matter. Like you got to keep your ears open for like, oh yeah, the dev gave up or like, this big person sold and he was the reason that you're in. But like price going down, I don't know. You got to keep yourself sharp. You got to keep yourself clear. And it's important.
For sure. So you said that personal development is the most underrated alpha for traders. And I realized that like pretty much this whole conversation has been a conversation around personal development. But what parts of your own development translated directly into trading results and what trades should new traders really be most focused on?
I mean, I think even at the basic, just like I see I see a lot of young guys getting into crypto and it's great, but like you think you're gonna make $1 million and be set, like you got to be the guy that can manage $1 million in order for it to be worth you making $1 million so fast. Like, and I think it's just like a lot of disciplines. It's real world disciplines of responsibility, accountability. Like, just like we said, find a group of traders, like find a group of dudes, find a mentor, like find people more successful than you, um, and really work on bettering yourself outside of crypto. Like if you're not a responsible, like somewhat successful guy, and I don't necessarily mean like financially or business wise, but like, it's a super cliche and like Jordan Peterson's kind of a clown at this point, but like he had a lot of good points that I liked back in the day. The like whole clean your room thing. Like, dude, like is your life a whole mess? Like, can you not keep your apartment clean? Can you not keep like your life together? Well, like why is money gonna solve that? And I think because I've made so much and like suffered drawdowns and like I've been up and down so much, I realized that like, oh, I can't, like I'm not gonna learn how to keep this money unless I figure out like my IRL shit. Like, so like why are we all killing ourselves to make like millions of dollars and like the mythical like 7 fig P&L when dude, you're gonna piss that away. I mean, you see like sports stars all the time, like make $100 million, and then like 10 years later they're bankrupt, and we're all
Yep.
like, oh, what a clown. Well, dude, that'll be you if you do not take life seriously. um, and so I don't know, dude. Like anybody can find a good self-help book, like in or person on the book. I'm so old. YouTube channel or whatever. Like just pick somebody that you think pick someone not young, I would say. Pick someone a little older. And I think like the trick is just doing the basics to be a responsible human so that it will make you a better trader. You'll have better discipline. I think to specifically answer your question of like my personal development, what I've learned is like how to be very confident and sure of myself. And I think that's how like really not arrogant, but like really confident. And you realize how confident you are in yourself when you're holding, a very down bag coin that you were positive will go up.
Yeah.
um, but I think that's the key. That's been the key to a lot of my big trades. It's just like, you know what? I thought this would go up. It's down right now, but like the reasons I thought will go up are still valid. So I'm just gonna wait.
Confidence is such a big one, man. Before I was working full time in crypto, I was working full time in TradFi and dealing with traders in TradFi. And like the most successful traders I ever talked to were all just like so sure. Just so sure. Every single trade they took, there was just no question. And a lot of that came from like understanding risk, understanding what they were willing to
Hmm.
lose. I tell traders that a lot in chat, like, think about what you're willing to lose before you think
Oh yeah.
about any sort of profit.
Oh yeah.
That'll help you. Just starting from that perspective will help you a great deal.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like that, it's like ultimate fatalism. I did this a ton where I was like, okay, like what happens if this zeroes out? Like, what am I gonna do? Okay, am
Right.
I fucked? All right, I should probably sell. Am I not fucked? Well, then I'm gonna let it ride.
Right.
Um, that's a great point, and I think that plus just the confidence that you will do anything in order to like to get better. Because it's not like you can't have confidence in your goal, like that's retarded. You have confidence in your ability uh, to put one step foot in front of each other, and your goal is at the end of it. So like you just have to be able to keep going. I remember like when I was down like so bad in 2024, like I literally would say to myself, this sounds stupid. I would say to myself like 100 times a day, keep clicking, keep clicking. I would say it out loud to myself. Like when had 5 soul, like keep clicking, keep clicking. Like you got to just keep going. And I think that's a double-edged sword because some people shouldn't trade, and that's just a fact. But I think it's like if you're willing to put in the work, and that's where the personal development and discipline comes into play. Because if you're willing to put in the work and the discipline, then you will succeed. If you're just like blindly confident in yourself that like someday you're gonna click a coin and wake up to like 7 figs, like yeah, that's not how it works.
Who shouldn't trade?
Well, let's go. I thought an interesting because those traders that you're talking about, they're confident. Like I can almost guarantee that in the dark of night, like they had to do like some serious self-talk to themselves.
Sure,
Like
of course.
it's that thing of like, what is it? Who said that? Where it's like courage is not the absence of fear. It's like the willingness to overcome it. Like
Yeah,
dude, I am constantly second guessing myself. Like my confidence is not like that I decided something and then like it shall be so. It's like I've put in the work to like look at it from every single angle. I do it all the time. I probably do it way too much. Spend hours like agonizing over this bag. Like, dude, should I sell this? No. Okay, like looking at all my bags, like I gotta convince myself not to sell this bag right now. And I'll do that like every day during some periods, like every day,
right.
sometimes multiple times a day. And guess what? After like a couple weeks and you haven't sold that bag, like, okay, now you've got confidence. It doesn't just kind of come. Um, so I think people that should not trade just probably have a weak mental attitude. Like, if you're flip-flopping constantly, if you can't handle stress, I think that's a big one. Like, be honest with yourself. Can you handle stress? Like, do you have a really, really stressful life? And then trading is like more stress on top of that? Man, you might make a little money, but
At what
I,
cost?
I don't know if it'll be net positive, like in the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I've found that to be the case. I've spent periods of my life trading full time and working and trading, and working and trading is makes trading so much easier. It's like
Yeah, it
it's
does.
crazy. Same amount of skill level in either scenario, but
Hmm.
having that quote unquote safety net of a paycheck just makes every execution that much easier to take, makes every L that much easier to take.
Yep.
It just kind of takes all of the emotion out of it, or it takes a lot of the emotion out of it.
It does take a lot of stress out of it because that question of like, what if this goes to zero? Is always like, oh, well, I'll just keep working my job.
Right.
That was something that I didn't shout out to Wood because Wood, like just talking to Wood a lot, that in 2024 was where I kind of developed a new approach to taking profit. I took profit way sooner in this cycle. So I took a good chunk of profit in 2024 and quit my job and just had like, multiple years stacked up.
Nice, man.
And
Good
so
for
that
you.
made a big difference, a big difference.
It's amazing. Congratulations. That's like,
Yeah.
feels like, talking to so many traders in here, it feels like that's such a huge goal. So to be able to achieve it, kudos. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, just be careful you don't do it too early. Like I mean, the other thing is like you're young, like you can take bigger risks. Like I have a couple kids, like I have a lot to lose, so I did it a little differently. But I think it goes back to like how do you manage stress? Like some people can manage it, and if you can manage stress and you have a big win and you just want to like go all in and try to see if you can make it work. Like that's the thing is like if your job that you have now is like somewhat easy to get, like whatever, you're working close to minimum wage or something and you have a big win and you think like whatever, you can YOLO and like really try to make it work because you can always just grow, get another job. Like that's one thing. It's just different for every person. And I think it is really hard to be honest with yourself, but you got to be honest with yourself. Like, is this the life that you want? This very stressful, like never sleeping without knowing you could wake up significantly poorer the next day. Like, sorry,
It's
did I
also
cut out
it's
there?
it's it's also a really it's kind of a really like lonely
Yeah.
world if unless you're able to like find your people and you do actively, build that group of people that you trade with that become, your day-to-day essentially like coworkers.
Yep.
It's a lonely job, man. You got no one to report to. It's just
Yep.
you pushing buttons and hopefully it works.
Yeah, man, I would say like that is so important that I would say find that. Like I can't imagine. I mean, I
Find your
solo
people.
traded my first two cycles pretty much. Um, and I looking back, I'm not really sure how I did it. I did do it, but it was a lot easier too at that time. There's just a lot less to keep track of. But yeah, find a group like, and they don't have to be insanely incredible traders. Like they just need to be good guys.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, like you said, just form a little pod. And I think like, things like this Discord, like a group of people is good because it kind of widens your surface area of finding new stuff, but you still need that kind of like personal little group that you can go through hard times and good times with.
For sure. So, all right, we're kind of running out of time here. I had a couple more questions I want to ask you. First off, and you can choose to be elusive with your answer here if you want, but I'm curious, um, what accounts on FOMO are like kind of overhyped that you kind of tend to not paying any attention to? And what accounts or account do you feel like is like an underappreciated, this person's like really kicking ass and nobody really knows it?
Dude, can I be honest? I don't use the social part of FOMO at all.
Okay.
I'm sorry to uh I'm sorry to reveal that on a FOMO call.
No, man.
FOMO
It's
is
all good.
so pure utility for me. What I do really like to see is the top 10 and see what coins they're in, just to like, dude, it's actually honestly like an amazing utility to just like log in and instantly see like what coins are printing for people today.
Yep.
I used to do this on deck screen or whatever. So that's really all I use it for. I would have a much more nuanced answer on X. I don't know if all the people, I think a lot of people that I follow, like my little niche accounts, I don't think they have FOMO accounts yet. I should
Okay.
onboard them and then I would have
Yeah.
them.
What are you doing? Get him on
I
here.
know. I know, but I will say that is a really good question because I must say, I've been spending 3 cycles developing it. I have a very goated X account strategy. Like a lot of like smaller accounts that are just like locked in beyond what I can be. Like they're
Yeah.
young, they understand TikTok. I'm an old guy. So I got a bunch of people that I follow and they find stuff and I don't buy everything that they post, but like they'll share something, I look into it, I'm like, all right, this one's good. And so that's a huge alpha. Like, big accounts, like it's helpful to see them. Generally, I think if you're a small guy with a small port, like you generally shouldn't be entering coins after a big account has entered them. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
Yeah.
because they kind of signal, and actually this is probably big alpha for a new trader. Just don't do that for a while and see what happens. Because they're signaling a group of people all entering at the same time. Where is the next group coming from? Like this is trading in a nutshell. You want to buy something before a bunch of other people buy it. So, if Frank DeGods is buying something, so especially something small, and he's different actually because he's buying large caps. So you might want to avoid it just for that. But if he's buying something small, there's like a tiny little window before like everybody else is seeing that too. So like, what's your edge? You have no edge. You know, Gajillions of people follow Frank. So if you have a bigger port, you follow Frank because he's honestly goaded at spotting like larger cap metas and has been crushing it on that. That's great. But if you're a small port, you need to be following other small port people. And then when you see someone else buy it, that's when you should start thinking about selling it because they are now bringing in people to buy it, push the price up. Now you go back to find, the new thing again. And you do that enough times and you build up your port and then you can change your strategy a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty brilliant. I have a handful of kind of smaller Twitter accounts that I've procured over the years as well. And it's a crazy. Every single cycle, there's always a few, and like
Yep.
don't know how I find them, but stumble upon them, and then one guy sends me down a rabbit hole, and all of a sudden I'm in like some random group chat of guys deploying 200 tokens a day. It's like you guys are absolutely cracked
Yep.
16-year-olds, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yeah. AI
amazing.
16Z was a guy with like 5,000 followers. He was just like, look at this cool thing. I was like, I will look at that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right, last question for you before we get out of here. Actually, if anybody has a question that we haven't touched on, you want it answered, throw it in open discussion chat and I'll pull those questions as I can. But my last question for you is looking out 6, 12 months. I know you said you've taken quite a bit of profits in 2024. Where is crypto at right now? How do you feel about 2026? And maybe even most importantly, like what sectors within crypto do you think are going to matter the most next cycle? What will you be accumulating in 2026 if we do get a relatively prolonged bear market?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know. I haven't started
Yeah.
thinking about that yet. I will.
Okay.
Um, I had a cycle thesis. I think that's a really important thing. It's a little less important right now because I think we're toward the end of this one. But I had a cycle thesis when I started this cycle, and that helped me a lot because like when everybody thought it was over in like October 2024, I was like, dude, I don't think it's over. Like I'm gonna stay locked in. My cycle thesis was that we would probably end like Q4 this year or Q1 next year. Um, so I gotta formulate that for myself, to be honest. I mean, I think AI and robotics, if they can figure that out, will
Yeah.
continue to pop up here and there. Um, Beyond that, I don't know. I got to figure that out. I'll let you know when I do.
Okay, cool. We got a question in chat. Do you think that there is a minimum amount of cash that somebody needs to have to start trading?
No, I mean, because like the thing people don't understand is like you can size down. Well, I mean, I should say no with an asterisk. Um, you can size down a lot. Obviously, if you're trading like dollars, then like the fees are gonna eat you up. But beyond like the cents that Solana costs like to trade, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
$100, $200, and the size down crazy. I mean, I mentioned that I mean, my portfolio was worth 280K, and then like 4 months later, I was trading zero point 0.1, zero point 0.05 SOL,
That's
$5 and
crazy.
$10 on trades.
That's
Like,
actually crazy, man. I can't even like it's hard to believe that that's the reality.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
I
I
would
did. Yeah,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
it's just discipline and like there's such a moon boy like 1%, 2%, oh 3% of this coin like you don't need that. You don't. You need to sharpen your skills. Like if you have a small port and you're starting, you are practicing right now. You're not just trading. So like why would you YOLO your entire thing into the first coin that you think is good? Like you don't know what coins are good yet. So
Yeah.
size down crazy amounts and practice and hit a 10x on point one and then celebrate that and then keep at point one until you like so you got to set your own benchmarks until you size back up.
Totally. Totally. Another question. If you could start trading today, what would be your first 5 moves you'd make? I don't know exactly what moves means, but
I
go
mean,
with it whatever way you want.
I wouldn't trade if I started trading today. I wouldn't trade for a while. Like what I did when I got back in is dude, locking in does not mean you're on new pairs just buying things that are funny. Like locking in means that you are catching the pulse of the market. And there are plenty of group chats that you can fairly easily get into that are public, that are huge. Like get into huge group chats and figure out what everyone's buying and then watch for a while. And pay attention to how coins, how coins what are coins doing after they're shared there? Do they go up? Do they go down? Like how many go up? How many go down? I mean, you just got to gather data for a while and like get a feel for what's going on. I couldn't like nobody could just drop into this market and make money. That's not how good traders do it. Like they spend time to figure out what's valuable and what's not. Otherwise, and we've seen this like viral stuff. You think, oh, viral stuff's the easiest thing to trade. Well, not really. Like
Mm-mm.
we had a viral meta and things went crazy. And then this year, viral stuff has not gone as well. It's not been quite so good. And like, you could buy one and then three other vamps pop up. Like things are not simple. Trading is not simple. So you should not pressure yourself to be good at it right away. You should not pressure yourself to buy a ton of coins right away. You should be paying attention before you're like putting money in, I think.
For sure. This is something that I see a lot when talking to folks in chat. There's a lot of pressure that people feel that they need to make it like right now, today.
Mhm,
I have to
mhm,
retire my mom kind of
mhm.
vibes, you know?
Right.
And there's a lot. I'm constantly trying to like pump the brakes on anybody who says things like that. It's like,
Right.
relax, chill, learn.
Yeah, man. I mean, legit traders paper trade, like legit old school traders paper traded a lot. Paper trading, it's not great because like there's not the same risk, but it's a good practice, to pay attention and to not buy a coin and then watch the chart and pay attention to group chats that you're in and people talking about it, people that are in, when did they sell? Like look at successful traders and notice that they're always selling before you think you should sell. Well, that's why they're successful.
Right. Did you start trading markets before crypto, or is crypto your first kind of like entrance
It
into
was my
trading?
first my first one. Yep.
Gotcha. Man, well, this has been such an awesome conversation, Brent. I was really excited to get to talk to you, and I'm so glad that we got to do this. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.
taking the time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, we can have you back some other time.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everybody,
much.
for tuning in and listening. I'm gonna get this. We've been recording, so I'm gonna get this bounced down and throw it on the YouTube, and it'll be available for everybody to go back and listen to later on this evening. But yeah, Print, man, such a pleasure to get to chat with you, and look forward to doing so again in the future.
The pleasure is mine. See
All
you
right,
guys.
brother. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.